All right, so the first one, what I would do is just use the expand command on your calculator. Okay, so if you hit F2 Algebra tab, choose option 3, expand, type in the expression as you see it, -5 times the quantity x plus 3 all squared minus 4. Close that off and hit enter, and it expands it for you. That's going to give you your function f of x is equal to, and you get -5x squared minus 30x minus 49. Okay, and so that would be your solution. Any questions on that one? Let me go through both of those. I'm going to complete the square first. Okay, so one way that you can find this is to complete the square. If you complete the square, what you're going to do is you're going to remove your leading coefficient, and that's going to leave me with an x squared plus here, when I remove a 6 from 24, I'm left with 4x. I'm going to leave a space to complete the square, and my 23, I'm going to leave that outside. So it's still on the same side of the equation, but it's outside of my factoring out or removing the factor 6. And so when I work to complete the square inside here, I take half of my first degree term's coefficient. So half of positive 4 is a plus 2. I'm going to square that. And then again, when I solve this, I added that to both sides, right, to keep the balance. But here, since we're working on just one side of the equation, I have to maintain the balance by undoing this. So in purple, on the right side of this equation, I put in a 2 squared that wasn't already there. So I have to keep it balanced. Well, not only did I put in a 2 squared, but I put in a 2 squared inside of parentheses that's being multiplied by a what? 6. So really I added 4 times 6. So I put in a 24 here that wasn't originally there. So to balance out that positive 24, what do I have to do on the outside? I have to undo the same thing. So I'm going to undo the 24 on the outside. And what that allows me to do is rewrite my parentheses here as a binomial square, x, and then whatever half of this first degree term's coefficient was, so plus 2 squared. And when I combine my terms here, I get my -1. And so this is my vertex form. Okay, so I can use completing the square to do this. It's a process where if you understand it, it works fine. If you don't understand it, it's difficult. Okay, so there's another way that you can prepare this, and that is you can just find the vertex. Because if you find the vertex using -b over 2a, our b value come back to our original form. We have -24 over 2 times a 6. And what does that give you? A -2. And so what we can do, there's the x coordinate, and we can then evaluate f of -2 to get the corresponding y coordinate. So 6 times -2 squared plus 24 times -2 plus 23. And if we evaluate that, again, you can plug it into the calculator if you want. I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to use the with key here. So I'm going to type 6x squared plus 24x plus 23. Substitute in or evaluate with x equaling this -2. And I get my corresponding answer of -1. So here's my vertex is -2, -1. So what I can do to get my answer is f of x is equal to, I don't know a yet, I'll talk about that here in a second. X minus a -2 becomes plus 2 squared minus the 1. And because my leading coefficient is the same as what I see right here, even though I don't have to go in and solve for it, I just need to know that all of these different forms are tied together where the leading coefficient is always the leading coefficient. So I can just write my 6 here. And notice it's the same form that I got when I completed the square. Again, completely up to you on how you approach that.